Hi, welcome to the Heroic Voice. I'm here today with Dan Sen. It's the end of August, the 30th to be exact, and we're here to talk about the Kickstarter project that he has going right now, Argo Comics, Lauren Order versus Gladiatra. Do I have that right?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. This is the Heroic Voice, where I talk to comic book creators and other interesting people on a variety of subjects. I am Dennis Maloney, publisher of the Heroic Multiverse, where we feature good girl and bad girl artwork, super babes, and all kinds of Silver Agey style stories. Tell us about Argo Comics and then tell us about this specific project.
Okay, well, yeah, about 20 years now, been publishing as Argo Comics. Not the legacy Heroic has, but we're getting there. We're keeping it going. And yeah, I've been self-publishing all that time. I have a title, Argo 5, which I have issue 47 at the printer. So it's been a pretty good stretch. And one of the members of Argo 5 is Gladiatra. Uh, and in that book, I've had Lauren Order, who is the police liaison between the police and the superheroes. So she has had dealings with Argo 5 before. She kind of hit on Gladiatra's boyfriend before. And, you know,
I can't imagine Gladiator is happy about that.
No, exactly. So she already was on the lookout for this to happen again, which it does in this special. And then I have Brad Green and Arnaldo Jr. doing the art, uh, and Peria Pillai doing the colors. And really happy with how the project turned out. It's kind of like I guess for those uninitiated, kind of like the bad girl, Lauren Order. She's actually based on a friend of mine who's short and wanted to be a cop. So I even took the height down a little bit more for comedic effect. So you know, not unlike Black Enchantress, who's a little smaller than the other characters, but she's even shorter than that. And then Gladiator, again, she's more of a superwoman type character, flight, super strength, laser vision. So she's never happy about that. Lauren doesn't have superpowers, but has her wits and her duty belt with a variety of advanced armament on that. And
I would imagine she's a feisty little firecracker.
that is correct. So, she can hang with the super beings. That's why she was picked to be the police liaison to the superheroes.
Well, I always find it interesting to see somebody who doesn't have any actual superpowers holding their own with people who do.
Yeah.
It's a good dynamic, and I like to use it. So um, you talked about the Black Enchantress, right?
Yes.
As you're certainly aware, the Black Enchantress isn't just the magic. She's also a highly trained martial artist,
Yeah.
right? So if it comes to a situation where for some reason, right, the magic doesn't work, she has that to fall back on. And not just to fall back on, she uses it whenever the opportunity arises.
Yeah. No, I always enjoyed that the heroic characters were multifaceted, and the fact that even like Flair, who has light-based powers, still had the flight and strength and everything like that. So yeah, no, as you saw, I actually recently had a heroic title anthem on my comic book haul
And
video.
yes, that is in fact what prompted me to get in touch with you for this,
Yeah.
kind of a returning the pat on the back.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. And in getting this opportunity to be on, I said to myself, you know what, this would be I'd be remiss without saying Gladiator, which a lot of people have a problem pronouncing, is not too far off from Gladiatrix.
Yeah.
Uh, I said to myself, I'm going to be on. Let me pull this book out of the archives and show it off.
That's the original black and white edition, I think. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
I moved, so most of my newer books, and I say newer loosely, are all assorted in like 100 long boxes. So I have to kind of get uh, going on organizing that and actually finding all my newer issues. But I did have some of my older issues in these comic drawers that I had, kind of like filing cabinets that were made for comics. So I was able to pull out some of them, and as I said, I had this uh,
Well, thank you
original.
for showing it.
Yeah, no problem. But Gladiatrix, yeah, that was a good story, and I enjoyed a lot of, as I said, the heroic titles. And in fact, occasionally I'll come across a talent, Francisco Gerbino, who
Oh,
was,
yes, Francisco, our fantastic girl artist.
yes. So I had a cover done by him for Argo 5 at one point. And actually, back in the day, one of my favorites uh, for you guys was Mark Probst.
Mark,
And
love Mark. Yeah.
got a couple covers from him as well. So that's the great thing about indie publishing. Of course, you get to like some of these artists whose work you've enjoyed, like me enjoying Mark's work in your books. I'm able to now with social media contact and get some work for myself.
All right. You have had 47. Well, this is the 47th issue of Argo 5. Do you want to tell people a little bit about the history of the superheroes who appear in that book? Um,
Yeah, sure. Well, actually, I guess throughout like junior high school, I was creating characters, and there were different iterations of Argo 5 pre-publication. And actually, the ones who didn't make the cut became their own team, the Paladins, which I introduced in the Argo Comics anthology, and I collected that into the Paladins #1. So
they're paladins?
the Paladins, that's what
Yeah.
they,
Do they
yeah,
have
because
guns and do they travel?
no, I,
People aren't going to get that. Younger people are not going to get that joke.
yeah, well, back in the day, I had a D&D character who was a Paladin. So, did a little uh, role playing games back with the original Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, they were the Paladins, but it's actually that book is more so about a young kid who has Merlin's pendant, and whenever danger arises, he's able to summon magically the Paladins, who are again heroes that I created earlier in earlier drafts of Argo 5. And the team balanced out well, so I kept them together. But yeah, then Argo 5 uh, consists of Gladiatra being the team leader, her boyfriend Shazarath, which is there's no actual Maltese pantheon, but I'm half Maltese. So I figured, let me create a Maltese pantheon because Malta doesn't get a lot of recognition. So he's the god of strength, kind of in the vein of, I guess, Hercules or Thor, but for the Maltese pantheon. And that's Gladiator's boyfriend. I have Blue Dynamo, who kind of skewed more towards the science fiction element. I have Chain Reaction, who's a Mexican kung fu uh, artist who can cause like a chain reaction of events with a desired outcome. So he might, throw a golf ball that makes a car skid that hits a light
Uh,
pole, and the light pole falls on the villain, kind of like a Rube Goldberg type of
Yeah,
situation.
Rube Goldberg.
Yeah, and then I have Kathira, who is the magic element. So she's a half genie with a father who was an astronaut who went up, found
Hmm.
a genie,
Hmm.
and what he wished for was what perhaps a lot of guys would wish for. And then 9 months later, there was a baby. So that's Kasira, and she's a half genie, so she can't create things out of thin air. She more or less can manipulate whatever's around her. So, because again, this is a powerful team. They're the premier team that I have, but I don't want it to be to the point where, nothing can challenge them. Uh, so you don't want all these overpowered characters running around.
Oh God, no. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kickstarter. I would assume that you have had some success with projects you've put there.
Yeah, this is our 14th campaign, and we've fulfilled in a timely fashion. So, that's why I think, people trust us in that respect. And we have a lot of return backers knowing that the books, for the most part, are going to be done.
Sounds like this one is essentially done.
Yes. Just having to hammer out a few things on the credits page, but beyond that, um, all done because it's unfortunate. The original idea, I guess, with Kickstarter, you don't have the money to pay the artist, pay the inker, pay the colorist, fundraise, get the money, and then make the book from there. But in an unfortunate circumstance, many times those without the money to fund at least one issue do encounter bills or a pair of sneakers that they really want or something like that. And slowly but surely, some of these funds disappear.
Yeah.
Um, so I invest in the project that I think I want other people to invest in. So I'll invest in issue one. I will use those funds to try to fund issue two and so on. Um, but I do want to be dependable to the fact that, people know they're going to get their books.
Well, I've learned my lesson in that regard. We had a couple of projects. You mentioned Anthem number six, which was much, much later than I wanted it to
Mm.
be because I made the mistake of assuming that the book would in fact get done on time, which it didn't, right? So we were sitting there, trying to get that Anthem number six done. As soon as it was done, we put it out, right? But it took a lot longer than I wanted it to. So from here on in, as we're doing with our current Kickstarter and Alter Ego, which will
Mm.
probably be over by the time this actually gets onto YouTube, um, the book is done, right? And as you are saying here, right, that's the only way that you can actually be sure that you'll be able to fulfill in a timely manner with something that is done or at least very close to being done. So
Yes, most definitely. And in that respect, my campaign might be over by the time this airs as well. But I don't know if you're doing the same thing I'm doing with the late pledges they have now.
yes, yes, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. So,
So the people
usually it
who,
bumps up the price a little bit just because we don't want people to skip, backing
right,
these campaigns, and that gives us a much better idea of the print run and everything like that. So better to fund during or back during the campaign. But they did come up with this late pledging, and yeah, it's a really good idea because it's hard to find all these books, and you always get contacted right after you're done saying, "You had a Kickstarter? There's a new book. Why didn't you tell me?" And
the risk that I see in that, and I think you alluded to this, is that people might say, "Well, I can get it later," and they won't contribute while the Kickstarter is going on, which could, in theory, be a bit of a problem, right? So we definitely want to encourage people not to wait, right? If you see
yeah.
something on Kickstarter that you want to get it before the Kickstarter ends. Um, you know,
Well, that's why Kickstarter does encourage you to bump the price up a little bit for the late pledging. Um, and in that respect, I do have a number of books that go directly to Indie Planet, but I keep the Kickstarter books off of that Uh,
Oh, you lost your lighting.
yeah, I saw that this wasn't charged enough. It's gonna go again probably.
Oh well.
But
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's gone. We'll just work with what we have here.
yeah, but yeah, as I said, the late pledging, if I'm gonna do that and allow people to still get the book, I mean, I will also bring books back for future campaigns.
Hmm.
Um,
Well,
so in
speaking
that
of which,
respect,
why don't you run through quickly the kind of rewards that are available on this new Argo 5 book? Number
okay.
47, featuring Lauren Order versus Gladiatra.
Well, no, issue 47, as I said, that is directly to Indie Planet. So
Oh,
this one is a special, it's a one shot. I didn't want to go with issue 47 on a Kickstarter
oh, I
because
see. I
that's,
see.
yeah, so many issues that people have missed. So what I did was I went and made this one shot special that stands alone on its own. I do have in the price box legacy numbering so that if you want to file it with the Argo 5 books, it I think 29.5 it actually
Hmm.
fits in.
So it's
Uh,
kind of a flashback story.
yeah, but yeah, so that's the reason it doesn't have any plot plot development or character progression or anything like that. Um, the artist who I started the story with, Brad Green, he was working two jobs. Really love his work. He's done other issues for me, but I knew it was going to be quite some time for him. And ultimately, those jobs caught up to him to the point where he said, better to have another artist just finish it off through his breakdowns, which I did with Arnaldo Jr., who did a fantastic job as well. Um, so yeah, in that respect, this is a one shot, no further reading needed for it. Uh, Argo 5 issues 1 through 46, currently available on Indie Planet. Uh, and I had some Law and Order special. We have the Law and Order Christmas special, Law and Order Halloween special, Law and Order Summer special. So those I have on the Kickstarter as add-ons. What I did do was I made a tier where you can get uh, the new Law and Order versus Gladiatra, Argo 5 Volume 1, collecting issues 0 through 6, Argo 5 Volume 2, collecting issues 7 through 11, I believe. So yeah, there's 6 issues each. Uh, and Sorority of Power Volume 1, which is another title I had. I just had a Kickstarter for that, where it's a sorority of superheroines, where three of them are sisters, three of them are pledges trying to get in the sorority, and they have to prove themselves through fighting crime that they are worthy of being sorority of power. And Gladiatra, they make reference to Gladiatra having been in the sorority of power during her college days. So, I try to keep a good amount of continuity running throughout. There was actually one issue of that had Law and Order guest star, so that'll probably be in like volume 3 of Sorority of Power. But I'm gonna get through all the issues eventually in Kickstarter, collecting all the trades. I
It
know
sounds
Heroic
like
has
a
done
high
the same.
concept to me. You know, I what I saw of the book I liked. I would recommend it to anyone. If you're into comics, into girl fights, this is a great
Yeah,
this is a great issue to get.
yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, there's always that balance of showing some good stuff and then wanting people to still have some surprises. So there's a few preview pages on the Kickstarter page everyone could check out. Uh, if you're, I'm guessing the link will be in the show notes. But if
Sure.
you,
Yeah.
if you, yeah, if you search Gladiatra on Kickstarter, you'll find it there as well. Um, and the Kickstarter, uh, also has a level uh, where you can have just all the covers because, again, as I alluded before, that you have all these artists who you enjoy their work. Kickstarters are a great opportunity to employ some of them to make these covers and see their takes on your characters. So yeah, all the covers are on the Kickstarter page, and then there is the level to get all the covers. And I really usually when I'm offering again on a future Kickstarter, most of the time it's just cover A. So anyone getting any of the variant covers, uh, we're not printing thousands. You're going to have
Gonna get
pretty
them
much
now.
collectible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's in the pipeline?
Well, I'm marching towards Argo 5 number 50. So I'm not going to stop until I get there. I also started a second imprint, Thunder Zone, which Argo Comics is just all my characters, and I'm doing most of the writing. But uh, I enjoy collaborating with other creators. So what I did with Thunder Zone is I invited like 7 or 8 creators with their own books to form kind of like what's akin to early Image comics, where they were separate studios but all on the same Earth. So on a separate Earth, away from the Argo Comics Earth, there's a Thunder Zone Earth, which has, again, I think at this point, 9 creators who have their characters on one Earth. And I have a number of books through there. We usually do a Kickstarter. I know you had Rick Offenberger on in G-Man Comics, where he offers a number of books for a
Yeah, Rick likes to do a
save
whole
on
bunch of
shipping.
books at once. Yeah.
Yes. So same thing we do on Thunder Zone. We offer a number of books at once, saves people on the shipping. So you can usually get 5 titles and have them all shipped to you. Uh, my main title on that being Nature Man, which is a kind of an update on public domain Nature Boy, created by Jerry Siegel and John Buscema.
Mm.
So that was a Charlton hero who there are a lot of takes on like Black Terror and Daredevil. I figured Nature Boy was kind of like not very utilized. So I said, let me take a shot at that one. I read mostly physical, so I had to track down all the. Luckily, someone collected all the issues, and then I had a story built on that. So he came back from the grave as Nature Man, and all the pre-existing books did occur. Along the way, he encounters some other public domain characters in the form of the Dart, Kismet Man of Fate, and ultimately Stardust, the Super Wizard.
Mm.
So these are, again, every time I utilized a character like that, I tracked down all the appearances and integrated those backstories into this story. I just had issue 4 of 4 in the last Thunder Zone Kickstarter, but I am planning a trade paperback for Nature Man. So working on that, and I'll offer a reprint of some of the public domain stories along with that book.
That sounds cool. We actually contemplated putting a story about one of the funny animal superheroes that's in public domain into the back of Alter Ego number 6, but
Oh,
we didn't do it. It was just turned out to be a little more trouble than it was worth. But as I mentioned, that Kickstarter is running. Oh, I've got a question for you. You like physical comics. I like physical comics, but if people want digital, is it available?
Oh yeah, sure. We have digital available at Indie Planet and on the Kickstarters, so people can grab digital copies if they want, or just back digitally. Uh, of course, worldwide, that's sometimes a smart move because the international shipping
Oh yeah.
can cost people. And I know firsthand the storage problem that sometimes comes with physical copies. So I don't blame anyone for wanting to switch digital. But, you know, I might be the old dog with the new trick and just so used to reading that physical, tangible, comic that is still just how I do it.
Yeah. Social media. How can people follow you, keep track of what you're doing, and talk to you?
Yeah, well, I have Facebook, I have Dan Sen, and I have Argo Comics. So one's, of course, the fan page, and one's, I have also a group, Argo Comics Thunder Zone, on Facebook. But Instagram, I have Argo Comics, Twitter, uh, Argo Comics, and YouTube. There's the Argo Comics channel, which I'll throw some stuff in. But a lot of times I'm doing my Indie Monster Haul, showing off the indie comics that I'm picking up because I want, to uplift the indie community. It's not just all about me, buy my books and everything like that. I'm I always get suspicious when you get those indie creators who only seem to buy, mainstream books and don't really support the indie comics community because there's has to be some great stuff beyond your own
Well, that's
if
kind of why I
eyes
started,
are open
part
to
of the
it.
reason I started the Heroic Voice here,
Yeah,
because I wanted, not just to talk about, our comic books, not just to get, people from the big publishers. I want
yeah,
to get people, talented people, creative people who, are doing their own thing and, try as much as we can, to spread the news about them. Um, you know, and also get some other things on the channel too. Having an economics background, it's I have quite a few different interests, but comic books are the focus of this. And I love doing it, and I'm glad to have had you on. Um, any, I should ask you, you have any advice? Yeah, I ask this of a lot of people. Advice to people who may want to break into comics, whether as a writer or, an artist or any other part of the industry.
yeah. Well, I think you have to have that love of making comics, um, because yeah, I mean, if you're doing it thinking it's going to take some time, like everyone does all the work for that first issue, and then it comes out and they aren't, in a bathtub full of money. It's tough stuff. So you got to have that if you're going to be in it. You got to be in it because you have that love of making comics. And yes, you do want to push it. You do want to get people to read it because that's why you're, making it to share it with others and everything like that. But Stan Lee had once said, "You want to know how you make $1 million in comics? Start out with 2 million." So you know, money. There are other ways that you're probably going to be more profitable. So have that love of making comics, and then make the comics. One piece of advice I'll say is don't get caught up in that rotation of making it better, draft after draft after draft, because uh, perfection is the enemy of progress. And some people uh, get on this kick where it's never good enough. And comics is a publication medium where if you're gonna put it out with any regularity, people are gonna understand that my first issue I drew myself, and I didn't have another artist redraw it. It's there, warts and all. Some people have told me they like it. Great, but I progressed to issue 2, 3. If I would have kept going with that number one instead of, I wouldn't be at issue, 47.
Got to get it done.
Yeah, got to get it done. McFarlane once said if he had 90 days, the book would look completely different from what it looks like after 30 days. But he's in a publication medium. He does it in 30 days and puts it out. Uh, Not so much all his issues of Spawn, but I guess that was back when he was doing regular monthly comics. So yeah, don't get caught up in that uh, draft after draft problem.
Yeah. Dan Sen, thank you for being here. I want to encourage people to go visit your Kickstarter. Even if you're seeing this after it closes, right, there's still, the late pledge option.
Yes.
So you can get the book. I also want to encourage people, if you like this, to hit the like button, right? Punch that subscribe button and share it with everybody. Because, as I said, part of this is to let people know. And if you want to let people know about Dan Sen, you got to tell them about him. So thank you again. Have a great weekend. This is a Labor Day weekend. It's a long one. I hope you have something to do on Monday.
Oh yeah, no, I'll be having moved from New York to Florida. Maybe I'll be basking in the sun.
Thanks again, Dan.
Thank you.
Stay in touch.
Thanks.